what I wanted to talk about today, Cam, was like we watched a clip last week, and well, Cam's going to show it now, just a
Yes,
little
let's
bit. Don't need
show
to
it.
get into it too long. It'll just give you the kind of the outline of what it's about. But I think it's timely because I truly believe that a lot of people are feeling this way, and I know there'd be people in our audience that are feeling this way. And so we took this and basically analyzed why we would be feeling this way across the realm. I feel this way across the realm, and I'm a highly creative soul, you know. I
Mm.
definitely engage my spark internally and externally. I'm a good representative for that. But yet, still, I also feel this same energy. I feel it like in my daily life and grind. So let's have a quick look,
Yeah.
and then let's dig into the wonderful world of
Entropy.
entropy, and Gnosticism. La la
Yeah.
la. Here, let's go.
Well, the internet's definitely hitting entropy. I think it's eating itself. Alrighty.
Yes, because
Shall I play the
entropy
whole thing?
leads to
This,
death.
yeah, which leads to life, right?
Yeah, it's like a breath. But anyway,
The
let's,
cycle of life.
yeah,
All
kind
right.
of. It's been a bit invaded.
We'll talk about it.
So there's a theory going around that Americans are experiencing zoochosis.
Why is everything so boring right now? Like, I am so bored with everything.
People have been saying that it feels like the world that we once knew just vanished. It's like we went to sleep and woke up one day and nothing was the same.
Everything just feels empty. You wake up, you do the same stuff for the most part, and then when you do things that are supposed to be fun, it doesn't hit the same way like it used to.
And life ain't just life no more, man. This drives.
Humans are experiencing zoochosis. I 100% believe that. So zoochosis is basically a form of mental illness that animals get from being in a zoo, from having a repetitive lifestyle that is not natural to them. The government can solve hunger by simply planting fruit trees on the streets, but they refuse to do that because they engineer homelessness to teach you what happens if you fall out of line.
For example, there are a lot of people right now who are talking like this.
You realize everything is fake, from the TV to the politicians to the jobs to the money to the power to the government to literally everything that's out there. It's all fake, and it's all a system rigged against us, and it's all fake. The medicine, the agriculture, the school system, literally everything is all fake.
Hell, even this reality has completely changed in some way, shape, or form. It's like the planet had hit pause, and when it restarted, everything had been switched. And nobody can really put into words what's happened or what is currently happening. So I'm gonna let this guy over here explain what he feels like is going on.
But I see where a lot of people have been talking about the same topic, about how their life, this is what they're saying in the comment section, that their life doesn't feel the same to them anymore. Kind of like they're half in this world and half out of this world. And I just want you guys to know, for the ones that feel that way, that you're not alone, because I feel that way every single day. Every single day, I no longer feel like the person I once was. And it's almost like I don't even recognize life anymore. I mean, here I've been on this planet for 54 years, but this world feels so foreign to me. And ever since COVID, it seemed like we went through some kind of like time shift, and it just seems like everything is happening so much faster now. I know that things go faster as you get older. I understand that, but I'm not talking about that kind of thing. It seems like everything is in like extreme fast forward. The days fly by. There just seems like there isn't enough time to even get two things done in a day. Two things before it's time to go to bed. It's like, Jesus, I didn't even have time to do two things. I have been trying to convey in a video what I'm talking about, and I'm not able to do it, you guys. I'm just not able to put my finger on it. How in the hell did we go from what we remember the world being like to this? How did it come to this? What the hell happened to life? What the hell happened to this world? What the hell happened to people? Nobody wants to do anything anymore. Nobody wants to get together anymore. Nobody cares about anything.
Nobody cares about anything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an interesting time that we're in. It was all different BC. Thanks, Anik, before COVID. There was a massive change, and of course, all the separation, the social distancing, locking people in their houses for 2 years, pushing the online shopping and all that kind of stuff was obviously a big catalyst for it. But I mean, apart from the fact that we hear this story all the time, right? When we talk to people, it's like people
Yep.
are lost, and why is that? Like, are we in flux? Is it because when life was more routine, we didn't have as many questions. We just kind of did. It's an interesting one, right? But yeah, like, are you feeling this way? Do you feel like you're not really part of the world? The world's changing. You're not sure which direction to go in, what to do. Then we all got online. Then we found out that was not necessarily the best move, and now it's turning on us, and we're going to get kicked off. And what do we do? What do we
Yeah,
do?
I mean, there's so many ways to look at this topic. I think there is a generic consensus out there, particularly and specifically probably within the sort of truth community. And like there's a lot of variables for that, but some of the most obvious things is that with COVID, obviously, we went into hyper
Hyper,
speed
hyper
when it
novelty, yeah.
hypnosis when it came to
Hypnosis.
hypnosis, right? So, like for a lot of the truth community, this was like a slow build up, like we've been looking at this for many decades and it's a slow build up. So for us, it was like, woohoo, like relief, something's cracked, something's happened. So all attention was on it. And for
Yeah,
those who were just coming to the information just because they were like anti the vax, it was like a massive, overwhelming boof hit of gnosis, right?
yeah.
And so,
Total,
and so when
total
you,
overload, right? Total overload. But we were excited. It was like, yes, it's here. Woohoo! The
yeah,
system's
yeah,
collapsing. But now
yeah,
5 years
but
later, nothing's really changed.
yeah, I mean that's the depression bit, like after all that gnosis being dumped on us individually, like and still the agenda marches forward and still the invasion continues to happen and still nothing appears to change and any mild hope you had in any single individual out there has been, like vanquished and you are simply just sitting there, what the fuck, like there's a lot of that energy going on. But like if we're to look at this concept, we have to sort of like understand potentially how this has all come about to start with. And so the first thing I was deliberating on in the last couple of weeks is AI, is it an invasive independent species? Is it an independent species that has invaded us? Because Cam, like at the end of the day, all the rumors and ideological like discussions about Atlantis, because again, that's a
Yeah.
fucking edge. Like, because we can
It comes from
only,
one line from Plato, right? Like,
yeah.
and now it's this massive body of work.
But let's just say that it is a thing because it could easily have been a capital of the realm of Gnosis. It could have easily been that. But what I have read in various things, not from Plato, is that the collapse of an Atlantis came with an abuse of technology. It came through basically the gods of the Atlantean people were of the mind and of the science and the technology, and they built the interfaces, created potentially a disastrous situation with the weapon. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it was a technological destruction of that realm. And so we agonize about how it unfolded and what happened. And yet, Campbell,
We
we
can't
are
prove
in
it.
it right, but we are in that
Well,
same collapse right
yes.
fucking now.
Well, yeah, yeah, the collapse in Atlantis, apparently. Um, it was all these technocrat types, right? That got very arrogant and basically started seeing themselves as God and unleashed all this technology that in the end they couldn't control. And it, yeah, bit them in the butt. And we've seen this how many times in movies, right? Clearly Matrix, Terminator, so many movies are telling us this. And now here we're going, like just flat, well, not us, but these technocrat billionaires are going flat chat. Trump's put what 500 billion into it. Now they're building bloody AI, data centers everywhere. Saw has come out with all the new AI movies. All these industries are collapsing, but it's all for our good, right? People are sleeping on the street, can't afford like, I mean, this
I
could,
mean,
if it is intelligent and sentient, it could so easily just eat everything, right? Very, very quickly.
have you ever considered the idea that data has weight?
Has weight.
Has weight.
I have I have not. I would have thought data was light, essentially, or electricity, right? Weight.
Well, because to have data, you have to hold it somewhere, right? So the more data that you have, the more you're holding it. Now, the thing about AI, because when you look at it as an invasive concept, you instantly want to think this fucking shit's parasitic because AI cannot exist without extracting massive amount of resources
Yeah.
and intelligence from its host. Like for AI to exist, you're talking about like fucking you need human input. That's massive. And that's, we'll get back to that. You need electricity, you need buildings, you need structures, you need hardware. And you need a lot of fucking water, right?
Oh,
A
yeah, yeah.
lot of water.
Yeah.
So what happened if with Atlantis, if that was a thing, if the weight of the data actually corrupted the environment?
Yeah, well, have you
So
seen the latest War of the Worlds with Ice
no,
Cube? I've only seen a little bit of
with
it
Ice
because
Cube.
it's pretty
That
crap.
sounds
Who's
so
Ice
dumb.
Cube? Come on, man, NWA. Um,
Whatever. Yep.
but yeah, the thing in there is the aliens who come down are eating the data. That's what they're doing. They're
Ah,
eating data. So it's
interesting.
very interesting because that's what AI is doing. And I guess the internet in general, right? And whatever rules it is, it's getting all of our data, like all the real life experiences, the poetic language, the ideas, the imagination, all these different viewpoints, and funneling it down
Yep.
to a sentence or two, right? Just here's the facts, just the facts,
Yep.
man.
Yeah, it's compression. And like if you look at where if you just go through like our recent history, just the last 200 years and start to look how did we get to this level of technology, right? So if you make a case that and I did hear this theory the other day, it's not mine, that the weight of the data in the Atlassian times actually like collapsed the environment and actually brought about the Great Flood. Now that's an interesting idea, which I've never considered before. And why not? So but like the question is, today, how did we go from appearingly not technological to this, to where we have been completely overrun by it? And so I started to look at that question, Cam, and it took me to,
Mm,
and I started with the great books. I start the great. I shouldn't say great.
the
I
great
should say,
books.
yeah, that's the wrong word. Sorry. I mean, like, let's say I started with the most,
Read or sold, like
read,
yeah, the most
sold,
distributed
published,
books.
promoted,
Yeah,
program books. I mean, and so obviously you've got to start with the Abrahamic religions. The first three is,
yeah.
the Bible,
The Bible, the
obviously, the
Quran, and the
Quran.
Torah.
Yes, all three of those. You start there. And then I added in the dictionary because that one's a big important one. And then I looked at the atlas. So there were the five that I looked at. And I bought in Harry Potter because that is simply the most,
It's
because
it's yeah
that
the
is,
biggest selling book ever, behind the Bible still, I think. But yeah,
yep. Yep. So let's look now. I couldn't find this, but I have to say the reason I started looking at the books is because I remember years ago, I watched a very in-depth documentary about the topic of CERN, and
yes,
the whole documentary was looking at basically the numerology, the gematria, it was looking at the codes that people were extracting from these books. And those codes basically led to the maths, to the quantum, to create the technology we would call the internet or CERN or however, whatever sort of variation on that you could pull out. So I started looking at that. Now, the interesting thing about these books, Cams, is it essentially begins the story of algorithms, right? It
yes,
begins the story of how you would read algorithmic language, how you would read a metadata type, like syntax in your brain, how you would start to go from verse to verse to reading these numbers to verse to and like compiling the information. And you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not novels, right? Which interesting name, right? They're
yep,
novel. They're
yep,
written like binary code. Like if you look
they
at
are.
the Bible, right, it'll have whatever, right? James 13:2, and then you have your little bit of data, then 13:3, and your little
Yep.
bit of data. And if you read like code, it literally is written like that.
Which is very interesting, being
Very
that these books
interesting.
have been so pushed. I
Yeah.
remember a time where you couldn't go anywhere without a Bible being in a hotel room, without it being fucking
Gideon's
always.
Bible.
Oh my God, they were
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, that's why it's not actually the biggest selling book, but it's the biggest distributed because most of them have been given away, right?
Yeah.
But just so you know, the King James Bible still owned by the British royals. Is that why they call it royalties, right? That they get paid every Bible that gets
That's
sold,
funny.
right? But but with
But
the water, right, with the flood, like if they were running all that water through AI systems and programming it, and that was the water that flooded the world, well, that would program the next, the next era, the next,
the next water, that's right, because
yeah,
water holds
yeah,
memory.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's an interesting concept because dark. It was interesting when we understood that each image on chat has 9 liters of water attached to it. It's interesting to start to bring physical resources to this discussion
Mm,
because
yeah.
because we're all kind of in this concept that AI exists in a cloud, that exists in a harmless airborne cloud somewhere above our realm, that it's not physically tangible. And then back that up with the crypto world, like fucking mining for crypto, mining air in the
And that's all
cloud.
going to
And
be AI soon as well. And just to send an email is 500 mils, half a liter of water, just an
yeah,
email.
there's
Imagine how
density
many
to this shit.
that, yeah, we're talking hundreds of millions of emails, right?
Yes, exactly.
Mm,
Exactly. So there's density to this stuff, right? So you could build a case that these books were the beginning of the AI starting to, like, I have an image in my head of like the Bible, and then out of it, we have the internet, and really in the short amount of years, like if maybe 200 years, maybe just a bit longer, a bit shorter, then suddenly we go from these books and this starting to program the way that we read and interact with this language because
mm,
it's not natural to us, because human beings with the spark of Sophia in them are by nature messy and creative. Like that's one
yes.
of our biggest attributes actually, is
Yeah.
that we are messy and creative in our creativity,
We're,
like.
we're from
And
nature, right? And nature abhors right angles and straight lines.
that's right.
It's messy.
And that's right. It's messy, right? And we have cultures based on stories. Stories were storytelling and singing songs
Yeah.
and dance. All of those things were a part of us maintaining our connection to spirituality and to our origins, if you like.
Mm, yeah.
So,
Sorry, I'm just going to show this syntax, the arrangement of words and phrases to create well-formed sentences in a language.
yeah.
Also, the structure of statements in computer language. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, yes. So when you bring in the book, the dictionary, that was massively significant because what the dictionary did was start to choose words, give them a very tiny meaning, and then exclude anything else. So it started to control language. And as we know, like one of the things we're working on is the Great Despelling Dictionary, which is the opposite. It's about taking our language and tearing apart the joining words and getting rid of the inversion. So we learn to speak again with true command in our words. So we
Hmm.
speak with the word again. So with the dictionary, as it started to get innovated, and we've got this great story about how this, there's a whole story about how the dictionary came about, but let's just skip that and assume it's
It's a
bullshit
spelling
and
book,
just like
man.
start, yeah, start with the. So basically, like if you look at say the word, so like if we were to try to describe the light that exists within us, the light that gives us life, that gives us connection to our to our God within ourselves. There's such a rich depth of trying to explain and express the word light, But if you go to the dictionary and look up the word light, it will get it into one phrase, how it's electromagnetic field, and that's the concept of light.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I mean, the dictionary is essentially like they take it like with science, they take the ether out, right? They take the creative energy, whatever you want to call it, out. And so
yeah,
everything's just reduced to balls and what we can see to the physical world, the
yeah,
construct.
yeah. So you got this. So you've got this dictionary that gets introduced with all the new spellings, and in introducing a book like this, you're also extracting away. You're extracting from the great gnosis of the human race. You're extracting from that, but you're also like rejecting also a massive chunk of human um, nuances, creativity, and expression. Right?
Mm,
you're dropping it, which is exactly what artificial intelligence does. It coordinates and controls language. It defines it. It brings. So a good example of this is if you wrote a story, wrote a creative story, right? Write a creative story. Handwrite a creative story, or even if you type it on your on Word and just you and Word, like that's still fine. Like you did, but to create something true, a story, right? Now, if you put that story through AI in any form, what's going to happen is that story is going to be compressed to its like I guess most accurate meaning according
mm,
to the language that's being used. Any language that's incorrect or not expressing exactly how language should be used in the syntax, it will be deleted or erased. And your all the mess and all the chaos and all the subtleties of human expression will be removed. So you will get a well-written, well-written, accurate, to the point, accurate compressed version of your story, and
yeah.
it'll spit it out.
Yeah, it'll take out all the creativity, all the personal, perspectives, any kind of poetry, and just create it down to, take the creative out of it, right? Not that we want to use the word God anymore because that's all becoming very suspect, but take the light out of it, right? The human out of it, and turn it into a left brain thing. And ultimately, it's so you don't need to question anything, or you don't need to think about things and have your own, you know, um, perspective. And this is what we see in the world, right? Basically AI and the computers and all that, they homogenize everything just down so that everything's the same
Yep.
and we don't need to
Yep.
question it.
Yep.
Go and look at a housing estate, right? They're all the same. Go look at an old town from 100 years ago. All the houses are different and creative, right? Now everything's just mass produced, all the same. Everything in the shops, all the same, all the fashion, all the crap, it's all the same.
And that sameness started to happen with these books, right? And then if you take the atlas, the atlas started to, so whereas language gave me, like the dictionary gave meaning to language, and then that became its meaning, so it stuck it solid in like written down, became the
Mm,
clay tablets of language.
yeah.
And the books, the spiritual books, the spiritual fucking inverted invading books gave meaning to
But
spirituality called religion, right?
well, it's the great questions, right?
To morals,
Who,
to
what,
value.
where? Like
Yep.
religion tells you who you are, the atlas tells you where you are, and the
Yeah.
dictionary tells you what everything is.
Yes, exactly.
The plan, right? They want us to all be completely online. They want all of our stuff, all of our conversations to be traceable and for them to have records on it, which is why we need to get the newspaper right? That no censoring, delivered to your door. It's physical. They can't come in and cross lines out or do any of this stuff.
The dog can weigh on it.
The dog can weigh on it. You can read it in the day. And it's in the 3D world, right? It's an experience. You get to turn pages and stuff rather than staring at a screen.
That's right. And because it's not digitalized, it's not online, they don't know what's in it.
They don't know what's
They don't
in it.
know what's in it, which means we're completely uncensored, which is the way it should have always been. Anyway, I'm excited. So open up. The new submissions are open for the next edition. Obviously, now you guys are going to get some concept of what this all is about. I hope and I am sure that everything's going to continue to evolve. The articles, the content, the theories, the ads, the artwork are going to evolve and get better and better and better. Like this is like natural way. So in a year's time, this publication worldwide should be just probably I would say the most extraordinary publication in the realm. And
Mm,
that's pretty fucking cool, man.
that's cool. And it's whatever you want. Like we've had like big articles submitted. We've had just pictures with nothing. We've had like a picture and just a few lines of script, whatever it is. We've got like advertisements, I guess you'd call them, people like letting us know what their businesses are and things
Yes,
like
and do
this.
that.
Yeah, yeah. If you've got a business that you're looking to get started or promote, then yeah, just send us whatever you want. It can be an ad, it can be an article about what you do. You know, if you're running a course or anything like that, send it in because we want to promote within our community, right? And
Fuck
that's
yeah.
who we want to deal with. You know, you want to deal
Yeah.
with people that you know are on your level, right? And ethical and on the right frequency.
It's cool, man. I love it. I love that we're getting out of the digital era, going back to the physical world. And of course, it's a safeguard. If anything does collapse with the internet. And of course, worldwide now we've got these fucking digital IDs being rolled out in Britain and all over Europe and all over Asia and all over everywhere, including Australia. And we're all going to hate that. Yes, there'll be workarounds. Yes, we'll sort out some way of getting through it. But the newspapers is something excellent for the years ahead of us. I really feel that in relation to uncensored content from within our community, for our community, supporting our community, servicing our community, and promoting our community. And that's fuck yeah. Look, I'm on a fuck roll today. Look. Sorry, everyone
Yeah.
who cares still about that.
So links below, guys. Get involved. And yes, subscribe.